we're right back in the thick of it, guys. Hello everybody, I am PhenomSage, and welcome to my Attack on Titan Season 3 Episode 1 review, Smoke Signal. This may or may not be surprising to you if you've been keeping up with what I said I'd cover this season, but here we are. Attack on Titan Season 2 was one of my favorite series last year. Just such a beautiful blend of action, drama, emotional moments, plot twists, etc, etc. And I absolutely loved where they took certain characters. Ymir and Krista, Bertolt and Reiner, even Eren and Mikasa at the very end. It was great stuff, and I love that we're picking up right where we left off, both in terms of the story and where these characters are in terms of personality. I particularly loved a conversation between Krista and Eren a little ways into the episode where she's just trying to figure out what her game plan is now. Ymir has already gone off on her own path, so what is she supposed to do? And I suppose we'll start to uncover that and more as we get further into this season. Speaking of this season, something that I heard explicitly stated was that this would be a narrative arc that is a lot more grounded, like to the extent that there's almost no focus on the Titans whatsoever, and instead this will be a very human-oriented story, surrounded by politics and mystery. And just from this premiere alone, you can see that's exactly what is happening here and what they're going for. There were times when it felt like I was watching a Mission Impossible film with the way that the espionage was incorporated into the story. Like the funny moment when Armin and Jean have to disguise themselves as Krista and Eren. It should also be noted before continuing that I am anime only for this series, and in fact, I have stayed almost entirely unspoiled on the coming events, which is nice, but I know that won't last long with you guys in the comments. All I'm going to respectfully ask is please do not spoil or even hint to spoilers of future events in the manga. This is a more fun experience for me not knowing what's going to happen, and I think it also makes the quality of these reviews higher as well, since a large aspect of my reviews is speculating and theorizing and just having fun thinking about what could happen in the future. I will have mods deleting spoiler comments regardless, but I hope it doesn't come to that. Regardless, I loved the focus on mystery and build-up in this episode, and if that's how the rest of this arc is going to be handled, I am so down. That kind of focus has already lended the series different kinds of stakes than we're already used to. We now have to consider the human element, the human enemy. The military police are scheming and have an agenda of their own, and have resorted to outright murder to get the information that they need. For whatever reason, they want Eren and Krista captured now. I would assume because of Eren's ability and because Krista knows things about the wall that she shouldn't. Either way, someone else also wants Eren and Krista, and it's here where we're introduced to who I assume will be the primary antagonist of this arc, Kenny. And what a goddamn entrance, I must say. He shows up and immediately, two characters that I thought were going to be at least semi-important to the story, dead. Just gone. Rest in peace Nifa especially, who had the potential to be a top waifu. I like this kind of entrance because right off the bat, it shows that Kenny isn't messing around. He will kill people that get in his way, and in general it just makes him a more imposing threat, which is a good combination with how seemingly charismatic he is as a character. I'm really looking forward to inevitably seeing the backstory with him and Levi, and what led to their separation. Anyways, what I like about this ending, and this tragic turn of events, is that it's so sudden, like a lot of the best Attack on Titan moments are. Up to this point, other than some of the espionage antics that I mentioned before, this is a very low-key and subtle episode. We spent a decent chunk of time just with our squad talking to each other, both in serious and lighthearted ways. And it almost raises this false sense of security, as if nothing crazy will be going down this episode. It is a nice subversion of expectations, but at this point now, you're not fooling me anymore, Attack on Titan. I expect at least 5 people dying in the Attack on Titan Season 4 premiere. I actually enjoyed a lot of the lighthearted moments here. Sasha stealing bread, Hanji not concerned about Eren's safety in Titan form, or the cross-dressing scene that I mentioned before. They're not like hilarious or anything, but something Attack on Titan has struggled in the past is adding levity or more personality-driven moments, instead choosing to focus entirely on dramatic or emotionally charged scenes. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just nice to see some lighter moments to help endear the characters to us a little more. Those lighter moments also, like I said, help contrast the darker turns the episode takes later on. Also, I don't know where else to mention this, but in those scenes like Eren being pulled out of his Titan, or when Kenny and his squad start killing, the gore and grotesque imagery is great and helps you realize even more, oh shit, they're actually going all in with this. Another thing I really want to focus on is the opening for season 3 here. As you all may know, this season will be 25 episodes, so we should be treated for 2 openings this time around, which is great. And despite a lot of disappointment from people, myself included, that Linked Horizon wasn't coming back for this opening, X Japan and Hyde have delivered another great opening in the Attack on Titan catalog. I just love how somber it is. There's really not much escalation, and instead it just dwells in these very depressing notes, which I assume is telling of how this arc will play out and what kind of tone we should expect. On top of the music, the visuals are amazing. Again, nothing as high octane as the previous seasons. Instead, all we have here are very simple but methodical visuals showing our squad as children, playing and living their lives in ignorance with their parents, and then contrasting it with how our squad has grown and how they have changed. There's one particular shot where grown-up Eren is just turned away, and child Eren runs up and bumps into him before admiring him and trying to talk to him. But adult Eren doesn't respond. He doesn't so much as move. This shot goes on a while, and it's so potent in communicating how we've changed, the things we've seen, and the kind of attitude you need in order to survive. It's honestly haunting, and it's probably my favorite scene from the opening as a whole. Honestly, my only complaint with the opening is that it isn't longer. It feels like just as it's getting going, it ends, so I cannot wait for that full version. What this opening does allude to is potentially seeing many different backstories with these characters and their parents. Although it's also possible that these visuals are purely for the opening to communicate what their lives were like with their parents, as I'm not really expecting to get full parent-child backstories on everyone we see in this opening. But of course, I would be completely open to that if we did. In general, speculating on this series is going to be hard because I know a lot of you already have the answers. Again, please try to keep things spoiler-free and let people theorize in peace. For me, the most relevant question right now would be, what is the secret of the walls? Who orchestrated all of this, and how did it come to be? There's an interesting mid-card that actually talks about how, despite varying in size, every single Titan's weak point is the exact same height and width. The same height and width as a human spinal cord. Wonder what that could mean. Above everything though, what I have to commend this episode for is bringing Attack on Titan back into the same glory we've always known it. The production values are high as expected, with excellent art direction, animation, and composition. This season is going to be especially important to get direction and storyboarding right, considering it's a lot more personal than the grandiose aspects of previous seasons. But judging by how expertly handled season 2 was, I have no doubt that they will deliver and maintain something truly special here. The soundtrack is also what you'd come to expect from Titan, lots of electronic and orchestral music, but there was one track during the final stretch of the episode, during the entire Armin and Jean rescue sequence, that seriously blew me away. I believe it's a re-rendition of one of my favorite tracks from season 1, so that explains why I like it so much. I'm completely okay with Sawano remixing some of his excellent tracks from the past. But yeah, basically this feels like Attack on Titan in every department, which is great to see. I wasn't sure if the 1-year gap in between season 2 and now would result in any quality loss, especially since we're looking at a 25 episode season here, but it looks like the answer is no. But that has been all from me for this Attack on Titan Season 3 episode review. thank you all so much for watching. As always, I hope you'll join me for a new journey, as I'm sure following this weekly with you all is going to be a blast. I'd love to hear what you thought about the episode or anything I said in the comments below, and if you enjoyed what I had to say, I would really appreciate it if you liked the video. And make sure to subscribe to keep up with my future Attack on Titan and other anime coverage in the future. And if you're interested in talking or following me elsewhere, make sure to follow me on Twitter, where I'm always posting about various things, and join the Discord server, where we have a nifty little community over there that I am always hanging out in. Links will be in the description, and of course, as usual, have a great day.